Yes, good morning everyone. Okay, we will discuss some important articles from 22nd January 2022, the Hindu newspaper. Okay, so first of all, overview of all these articles, important articles from today's the Hindu newspaper. Okay, look at the first page. Amar Jawan Jyoti now merged with War Memorial Flame. Okay, so yes, from let's say miscellaneous perspective, national symbols and the monuments of national importance, this can be asked in prelims examination. Okay, just we will have brief information about this let's say changes by the government. Then some data from economy perspective, bottom side, startups raised a record $24.1 billion in 2021 in last 1 year, and this is a double of pre-pandemic level. Now this is good news from Indian economy. Okay, so the startups, their numbers have also increased. Along with that, the investment in startups have also increased. This data can be written in economy, let's say GS3 paper part, whenever the question is related to entrepreneurship, promoting entrepreneurship or the startups in the country, the startup ecosystem, the present situation. Okay, so you mention, let's say note down that data and we'll use that in our mains examination or even essay paper. Now on page number 5, states page, on the bottom side you can see all set for tiger count at Bandipur and Nagar tiger reserves. This particular news relates to tiger census, the 4-yearly report by the government. Okay, this is conducted by Wildlife Institute of India along with NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, every 4 years. So last tiger census was carried out in 2018. Okay, and this is now 2022. Such kind of tiger census is carried out in each and every tiger reserve with different kind of methodologies. Okay, the recent one, camera trapping and the double standard survey is carried out. We will try to know basics about that, also highlights of tiger census 2018. This is important and relevant for prelims examination as well as mains examination, environment and ecology. Okay. Why mains examination? Because simply there was one question in 2011 or 12 mains examination. 5-marker question was there on M stripes, the system that is used for we can say monitoring the population of tigers in the country. Okay, so that's why I was telling you कि mains की perspective से भी ये important है. Now on page number 6, the article, lead article written by Shashi Tharoor, the ground rules of the one land of many. Now this article is not specific to something, rather it is talking about the democracy and its experience in India in last 75 years. Okay, so as we are going to celebrate this week the Republic Day, 26th January, right? So that's why the article is written. It is giving the brief overview of the situation in the country, and we can take input from essay paper. Okay, so the experience of democracy in the country. So from that aspect, some good inputs can be taken. Okay, and we know that Shashi Tharoor, his language and how he writes, speaks very well language, and it also mentions about constitutional morality. Now this was asked in this year mains examination again, GS2 paper. What do you understand by constitutional morality and all these aspects? Okay, so civic nationalism, liberal nationalism, constitutional morality, these terms are explained in this article. Okay, so that's why it is relevant to our examination, GS2 paper as well as essay paper. On left hand side, again the analysis in the editorial, wrong remedy. Context here is the recent changes proposed by central government to All India Service Cadre Rule 1954, the rule 6 of that AIS, we can say cadre rules. Okay, so the criticism is there, the analysis is mentioned, some important data. Yesterday also we discussed, there was lead article on page number 6. Today we will take some extra inputs here. Some facts are mentioned there. That data facts can be used from GS2 perspective, polity part. Okay, look at the page number 8. UNESCO tag sought for root bridges. Last month there was one photograph on the front page about the root bridges in Meghalaya. There we talked about the particular tree that is there. तो अभी आप उसको लिख के लीजिए प्रीलिम्स के लिए. You note it down for prelims examination which tree is used for weaving those natural bridges and traditionally used to cross over the streams. Natural bridges, root bridges. Okay, the name of tree is rubber fig tree, Ficus elastica. Okay, so this is important for prelims examination, and now the Meghalaya government is pitching for getting the UNESCO tag for this particular traditional practice here. Okay, root bridges. They are seeking UNESCO World Heritage Site tag. Okay. Now other news, political news is there. Fine, we will discuss these articles in detail now. Look at the first page. Wrong remedy. Okay, so this particular article is having the context of recently the DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, central government, it has proposed certain changes to the rules and sought some review feedback from the states by 25th January. And the changes are to Rule 6.1 of this All India Service Cadre Rules 1954. Okay. We will look into that, which are the problematic provisions. But first of all, the background here. So why government has proposed, central government has proposed this rule. So deputation from the union government has been uneven. Some data, some facts. Yesterday's article there was lack of such data facts. You add on this to that particular article. So what you can write here, some of the states they have not deputed the All India Service officials to the central government. So, example of West Bengal, 11 out of 280 such officers at present, only 11. Other example, Telangana, 8 out of or 7 out of 208. This is the situation in the country. Some states, even Rajasthan, very few number of, let's say, All India Service officials are deputed. Now you can see the trend here. The trend is that those states wherein the opposition ruling party or regional party is in ruling party, so there the number of officials deputed to central government are very less. Okay, so this is to some extent the political consideration. Declining trend in deputation. 70% officials of the fixed quota for the deputation, and now in 2021 it is only 30%. And this is the argument given by the central government. Central government is finding that they are not having enough officials to work in the ministries and department at center. That's why this particular changes to the rules and regulations. Now, among the 4 changes which are proposed here, 2 of the rules are particularly problematic. Now, which are these 2 rules problematic here? The first one here is specifically talking about whenever there is, let's say, conflict between center and state. Over that deputation, then the state will have to follow the directions of center within the specific time limit, within the specific time limit. That means to some extent it is compulsion on state to follow the center. The second provision is that in specific situations, the central government may ask specific particular officials to be deputed to the central government. Okay, so such kind of things are problematic here. So let's analyze this provisions. First thing is that it is a kind of arms twisting the state governments and asking the unwilling officials to serve the central government. Okay, so it goes against the independence, autonomy and will of the All India service officials, IAS officers, IPS officers. The second thing we should understand in analysis is that the IAS, IPS officers are unwilling. Why they are unwilling? Why they are unwilling? Because there is some kind of top-down, let's say, hierarchy in the central government. Okay, so there is under secretary, secretary, we can say, ये जो है systematic for that, and instead they have more independence and less hierarchy. Okay, there is more flexibility to work at state level while there is no flexibility in central level. Okay, so क्या हो रहा है? Yes, is it coming? Voice is coming?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Now.
Okay. Fine. Let's continue. So we were analyzing these provisions, and the third important aspect we should consider here that during pandemic times, the state governments are very much dependent on the bureaucracy, especially the IAS officers, IPS officers, to deal with this situation. And in such situation, if they are deputed to the central government, then obviously the additional burden on the state government. So this is demotivation to some extent for the state machinery, administrative machinery. And that's why it is being said that without bringing changes to the rule, what can be the way forward? State specific approach should be there. So those states which are not deputing their officials according to the given strength, okay, so for those states the central government can come up with certain directives to those states कि भाई आप अपने officials को जितना depute करना चाहिए वो करिए, right? So this should be the directives to the some of the states rather than giving the uniform approach here. The second thing is that those IAS, IPS officers, why they are unwilling? Because of the problem in work culture. Okay, so there needs to be some qualitative approach to bring the changes in the work culture in the central government, right? So this should be the way forward here. So whatever the discussion yesterday we have done, you make some kind of addition here in those discussion. ठीक है. Yes, obviously that's why the balance needs to be maintained. No, some kind, let's say number is fixed, that number should be there. Okay, all states are required to provide that. This is how the All India service was envisioned, that they will be serving both center as well as state, right?
If the deputation is continuously running like this, the central government will not able to take the information from the ground field also now, sir. They are not able
Yes.
to identify the resources as well as
Yes,
the
of course, of course. So the objective of having the all India service is not there, no, कि आप यहाँ पे all India service में recruit कर रहे हो और उसके बाद में पूरा tenure जो है वो state में ही जा रहा है उनका, तो all India service कैसे हो गया फिर वो, right? So this is how we should discuss this. GS2 paper part, public administration optional subject. Okay, very important. Now, the ground rules of the one land of many. Now, what we have done is directly we have taken the important premises, arguments from the article, and I will read it down, I will explain them, and this is important directly for your essay paper. You can download this PDF and later note down those arguments. You can read the article also. Okay, very good article written here. So first of all, the modern idea of India, despite of mystical influence of Tagore and the spiritual and moral influences of Gandhiji, is a robustly secular and legal construct based upon the vision and the intellect of our founding fathers, notably Ambedkar, Nehru and Patel. Right? So this is how we should understand. Our founding fathers have led to, or let's say created a base, a foundation for modern state or modern idea of India based on the constitution. Now what kind of constitution? The role of liberal constitutionalism in shaping and undergoing civic nationalism of India is the dominant strand in the broader story of evolution and modernization of Indian society in last 75 years. This is the experience that we are having. The experience of having a liberal nationalism based on the or shaping the undergoing national civic nationalism. What is civic nationalism? Civic nationalism is adherence to the ideals and values of constitution. That is civic nationalism. Okay, the both government as well as society, individuals, they are adhering to the values of constitution. So that is called as civic nationalism. And our constitution provides for liberal nationalism rather than any kind of ethnic or parochial nationalism. Try to understand this. And this has been the experience despite of divisive forces and the diversity that we are having in terms of religion, language, and we can say region also. Despite of these differences, we survived, and not only survived, rather we flourished. Okay, so you should be talking about such kind of arguments in essay paper. Let's understand the next argument. Now, every society has an interdependent relationship with legal systems that govern it, which is both complex and, especially in our turbulent times, continuously and vociferously contested. It is through this interplay that the communities become societies, societies become civilizations, and civilizations acquire a sense of national and historical character. A very good argument mentioned here, that there is some kind of interdependence between the society and the government, and this is part of social contract theory. Social contract theory from Thomas Hobbes to then John Locke, and then the recent one Rousseau and theory of justice by John Rawls. This is how the evolution has happened, and early there was absolute state and the society was completely dependent on the state. The state had absolute regulation, and now the power has shifted to the people. Okay? So this is how we are having the interplay between the society and the government. Okay, and through this interplay, the communities become societies, societies become civilization, and civilizations acquire the identity of nation. Okay, then the most important contribution of constitution to the Indian civic nationalism is representation centered on individuals. So we know that immediately after independence we adopted universal adult franchisee. Okay, so each and every individual attaining 18 years of age is eligible to vote. Okay, so irrespective of his background, okay, so region or race or caste or religion, gender, irrespective of all these aspects, that person is eligible to vote. This is the most significant provision in our constitution contributing to civic nationalism. Okay, so you should be aware about this, and because of this only we have survived. Otherwise there would be some kind of dominance of majority over minority. Okay, now the next argument here is constitution provided a legal structure to an implicit idea of. Okay, so what kind of implicit idea? The constitution provided a legal structure to an implicit idea of India as one land embracing many. We have this diversity in the country. Diversity in terms of caste, creed, color, culture, cuisine and conviction, consonant, costume, customs, and still rally around the democratic consensus. That means despite of these differences, we have been able to manage the consensus. Why? How? We should understand that. So we have been able to maintain the democratic consensus. That consensus is around the simple principle that in a democracy, under the rule of law, you do not really need to agree all the time, except on the ground rules of how will you disagree. So simply we say that we agree to disagree. We agree to disagree and we have the common rules here and all agree to those common rules. How will you disagree? Simply, like for example, we have parliament and on the floor of parliament we have disagreements. There is discussion, deliberation. Okay. Also we have media and that media is free to discuss, debate on particular issue of national importance or societal importance, economic importance to the country. Right. So this is how we have agreed to disagree and the ground rules of how will you disagree. This is the common for all. There is consensus over these ground rules. Okay. And the writer is to some extent criticizing the present government of tinkering with these ground rules. Okay, so for example, simply like bypassing the parliamentary discussion and deliberations. Okay, passing certain bills as money bills so as to remove the discussion aspect or deliberation aspect in the constitution. So this is a very good argument mentioned here. Our democracy has survived here because of this common consensus that we have. Okay. Now, the next argument, yes?
Sir, can we take it as per author criticism, the present government is not giving the chance to discuss and deliberations with the opposition party as well as the public also, but sometimes.
Yes, yes, to some extent, but obviously the good governance, e-governance started and they have to listen to public ultimately. Okay, so because of various, let's say, the provisions, the platforms that have been made available to the people, so people will voice their opinion on these platforms and the government ultimately has to listen to that. Okay? Yes, the struggle for Indian independence was after all not simply a struggle for freedom from alien rule. Rather, it was a shift away from administration of law and order centered on imperial despotism. Okay, so the kind of despotic rule we had under Britishers, we wanted to change that. We wanted to ensure some kind of civic rights to the people which were denied by this despotic rule under Britishers. It is from this that the idea of constitutional morality was born. We wanted to change this and this provided for idea of constitutional morality, meaning a national commitment to the pursuing desirable ends through constitutional means, to upholding and respecting the constitution's processes and structures, and to doing so a spirit of transparency and accountability, free speech, public scrutiny of government actions, and legal limitations to the exercise power. This was envisioned in our constitution. Are you getting this? Ultimately, the constitutional morality. This was asked in our this year's mains examination GS2 paper.
Yes, sir. Without changing the basic structure of the doctrine, they need to implement everything.
So the basic constitutional philosophy. Okay, so whatever the desirable ends that we had envisioned, what are the ideals mentioned in preamble? Okay, so justice, freedom, liberty, equality, these ideals are to be achieved through constitutional means. This is constitutional morality. While exercising the power, the government, there should be some kind of legal limitations on it. It is not absolute power. Also, there should be public scrutiny of whatever the government actions are there. This will make it accountable. Okay, so this is all aspect of constitutional morality. So simply there can be essay topic. We are expecting 75 years of independence, story of Indian democracy. So you should be aware about positives, negatives, ups and downs, 1975 emergency that happened, how it is considered as a blot on Indian democracy. Okay, so at the present challenges to the democracy, ये सारी चीजें आपको यहाँ पे लिखनी है. Okay, and how still our democracy survived and flourished. Okay, despite of these challenges. Fine. Now moving on. Startups raised a record $24.1 billion in 2021. So one of the study by NASSCOM and one of the company Zinno. Okay, so according to that study, the startup raised a record $24.1 billion in 2021. This is twofold increase over the pre-COVID-19 levels. Now this is good development. Okay, along with that, the number of, let's say, startups, they have also increased. The number, it has increased to 2250 startups, more over 600 more than what was added in the previous year. Okay, so these many new startups were added. Now US remains the leading source of foreign direct investment in startups in India. Okay, so this is the situation. You should mention about this fact whenever the question relates to promoting entrepreneurship, promoting startups in the country, the startup ecosystem, how the present government is focusing on that. Okay. Yes. Now all set for tiger count at Bandipur and Nagar whole national park or tiger reserves. Yes, so this is 4-yearly exercise starting. So it will commence at Bandipur and Nagar Hole this weekend, part of All India Tiger and Mega Herbivore estimation. Simply tiger census we can say. Right, so earlier tiger census were carried out in 2006 for the first time, then 2010, 2014 and the latest one 2018. According to the 2018 census, there were 125 tigers in Nagar Hole and 72 tigers in the Bandipur. Okay, sorry, 72 tigers in the 2014 exercise. So Nagar Hole, this much increase in the tigers, number of tigers. About Nagar Hole National Park, it is located in Mysore and Kodagu district of Karnataka. Adjoining Bandipur Tiger Reserve and Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary. This is Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary in Kerala. Bandipur is in still Karnataka we can say. It is part of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. All these protected areas. We will try to locate that on map also. Okay, briefly I will show that to you and then we will try to know about tiger census. So you can see here Rajiv Gandhi National Park. This is Nagar Hole National Park. It is also named as Rajiv Gandhi National Park. Then this is Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Okay, you can see Silent Valley National Park here located in Kerala. We can say Mukurthi National Park is there. Along with that, where is Wayanad? Yes, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary is located here. So you can see that they are adjoining. Together, all this forms the Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. This Mukurthi National Park is part of Tamil Nadu. It is part of Tamil Nadu. So it is located at tri-junction of Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Nilgiri Biosphere, like this. Okay. Now about tiger census. Yes, it is estimating the number of tigers in given area at particular time. That is tiger census. It is 4-yearly report and it is carried out by Wildlife Institute of India, autonomous institution under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and National Tiger Conservation Authority. The statutory authority created or set up in 2007 after amending the Wildlife Protection Act in 2006. Okay, so this is statutory body. Now, most commonly used technique for tiger census in the past was pugmark census technique on the ground level. Okay, but recently the techniques have improved. What kind of recent methods used for the estimation? Camera trapping and DNA fingerprinting. So these used for, let's say, the laboratory analysis. First of all, what is the double count survey, or we can say double cross survey? Simply on the ground level, pug marks are let's say analyzed, or let's say survey is done for the pug marks, and then later on the traps are used to understand the stripes pattern. This stripes pattern for each and every tiger is unique. For each and every tiger it is unique, and this is how the verification is done through the camera traps. Then DNA fingerprinting in latest one. So the fecal of tiger is analyzed for DNA purpose. Okay, and accordingly such kind of specific information of different tigers is profiled. This is how the latest methodology is used. Also along with that, GIS technology used from, we can say, satellite based methods are used in M stripes. M stripes is the method that is used for monitoring the tiger population and their movement in the protected areas. Okay, this is use of GIS technology here. Now, highlights of latest tiger census 2018. India is now home to 70% of world tiger population. Along with that, the census 2018, 2,967 tigers were found in the country. This has been the rise of 33% over the figure found in the previous census of 2014. So in 2014, 2226 was there, now 2967. Madhya Pradesh with 526 tigers has the highest tiger population, and Karnataka the second highest, 524. See, in 2014 Karnataka had the highest. This changed in 2018, Madhya Pradesh, and the third one Uttarakhand, 442. Now among the northeastern states, Assam with 190 tigers has the highest tiger population. The tiger population in Chhattisgarh and Mizoram declined in 2018 compared to 2014. There is no change in the tiger population in Odisha state. Now, Buxa Tiger Reserve, Dampa Tiger Reserve, Palamu Tiger Reserve, there was no tiger found in these tiger reserves during that census. Also, you should be knowing that India has already fulfilled its resolve of doubling the tiger numbers made at St. Petersburg Declaration in 2010 by tiger range countries. much before its target year 2022. So the tiger range countries in this St. Petersburg Declaration decided in 2010 to double the population of tiger numbers, and India has achieved it well before the target year of 2022. Okay, so this information is very important for prelims examination. Okay, fine. So just pictographically we have again shown like 2006 में population जो था वो कितना था 1411. You can see the more than double population from 2006 levels. Okay. Amar Jawan Jyoti now merged with War Memorial Flame. So iconic Amar Jawan Jyoti, which was inaugurated after 1971 Liberation War of Bangladesh by former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, was removed yesterday. And basically it was not removed, rather it was merged with the National War Memorial, which was established in 2019. Okay, so Jyoti was not extinguished, rather it was merged with flame at National War Memorial. Now also Prime Minister announced the construction of statue of Subhash Chandra Bose, restructuring the symbolism around the India Gate. Okay, there will be statue of Subhash Chandra Bose near India Gate now in Delhi. Fine. So this National War Memorial was inaugurated in February 2019, is located at C Hexagon near India Gate, and was built in the memory of soldiers who laid down their lives for the country in the post-independence period. So you can see that Amar Jawan Jyoti was specific to those who died fighting in the Liberation War of Bangladesh, while this National War Memorial is for all the soldiers since independence, those died fighting for India. Okay, and also in a change of tradition, before the commencement of Republic Day Parade 2020, our Prime Minister paid homage to the fallen soldiers by laying a wreath at National War Memorial instead of Amar Jyoti. So earlier there was tradition of paying homage to those who died during the 1971 Liberation War at Amar Jawan Jyoti. This tradition is changed by the present Prime Minister since 2020. Okay? Yes.
But in that case, by removing of that one, they are going to be constructing Subhash Chandra Bose statue on it.
Not that place, not at that place, simply the other place may be dedicated, okay, near the India Gate part. So पूरा change हो रहा है actually वहाँ पे, जो पूरा हम बोलते हैं ना कि पार्लियामेंट बिल्डिंग और वो प्रेसिडेंट पैलेस के सामने का पूरा प्लेस जहाँ से रिपब्लिक डे परेड कनेक्ट होता है हमारा इंडिया गेट से, तो वो सारा चेंज हो रहा है. ओके, यस, व्हाट शुड बी आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन? Yes. According to 2018 Tiger Census, which of the following statement is incorrect? Okay.
Writing is incorrect. Writing is incorrect.
First one. See, first statement, rise of 33% over the previous census of 2018. So this is correct statement. Okay, rise of tiger population we are talking here from the 2014 census. This is correct. Karnataka has the highest tiger population. This is incorrect, no? Rather, Madhya Pradesh is having highest. Then there was no tiger found in Baksa Tiger Reserve. This is also correct statement. There is no change in the tiger population in Odisha. This is also correct. So B is incorrect. That should be the answer. Okay?
Present in the Karnataka, but previously Karnataka.
Yes, previously it was Karnataka and presently it is Madhya Pradesh. Okay, fine. So these are the important topics from today's The Hindu newspaper. Any question?
Sir, as per the given the statement of the constitution, sir, the statement argues that topic argues mainly without any basic preamble and fundamental rights, they need to give the orders from the government, sir. But the present government is not following the sometimes due to violating of their.
See, simply we should understand that there is concept of letter and spirit. Okay, so the constitution is followed in largely letter and not in spirit. Okay, some kind of, let's say, unwritten loopholes from the let's say laws or constitution can be exploited, and many times the present government is doing that. Okay, so इसलिए वो argument दिया है.
By using loopholes, they are passing the police.
Yes, yes. Okay, fine then. Let us stop.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.